Digitalna revolucija. Digitalni poslovni model. Kibernetska sigurnost.
Dobroveče i dobrodošli u emisiju o digitalnoj ekonomiji. Moje ime je Branislav Vujović i ja sam predsjednik New Frontier grupe. Članice New Frontier grupe u našem regionu su Saga u Srbiji, Crnoj Gori, Makedoniji, Bosni i Hercegovini, NPS, New Frontier Slovenija, Smart i NF Innova. Danas ćemo govoriti o digitalnim poslovnim modelima. Kako kompanija koja je stara samo 5 godina može da vredi 2 puta više nego što je bruto nacionalni dohodak Srbije? Zašto Apple ima više gotovog novca nego Sjedinjene Američke Države? Pokušat ćemo da objasnimo razliku između industrijskog i digitalnog poslovnog modela. Da bi objasnili razliku između industrijskog i digitalnog poslovnog modela, to je najlakše učiniti pomoću primjera. Zato pogledajmo kako to radi DollarShaveClub.com.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
Disrupcija Gillette kompanije je zasnovana na činjenici da sam proizvod, odnosno rezervna patrona za brijanje, košta u proizvodnji svega par centi, a da kroz takozvani cevni poslovni model i lanac snabdevanja kroz troškove marketinga, organizacije i strukture kompanije naraste u pakovanju od 3 do 5, čak i do $20 u maloprodaji.
For $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door.
Digitalni poslovni model Dollar Shave Cluba menja način rada i osnovne funkcije, poslovne funkcije u kompaniji. Oni su preveli prodaju u pretplatu, tako da klijenti dobijaju za svaki mesec 5 rezervnih patrona i time rešavaju problem da zaborave da kupe nove patrone.
Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you.
Kritične poslovne aktivnosti, marketing, prodaja, podrška, prebačene su na digitalne kanale. I time je smanjen neophodan broj ljudi i samim tim promenjena i organizacija kompanije. Michael ima manje zaposlenih u celoj kompaniji nego što Gillette ima vice prezidenta u Americi. Upravljanje proizvodnjom se prenosi na partnere kao i veći deo logistike i isporuke, a samim tim marketing i prodaja nemaju iste funkcije i u mnogome je planiranje upravljanja firmom pojednostavljeno. Zato je zaista moguće da Dollar Shave Club ponudi za $1 svaki mesec 5 novih rezervnih patrona. Iako Gillette ima finansijska sredstva, ima i kapacitet, ali ne može tako lako da odgovori na ovaj izazov, jer bi svaka akcija koja uključuje smanjenje cena direktno ugrozila marže koje postižu danas i samim tim u njihove profite. Ugrozila bi čitav partnerski ekosistem koji su oni godinama razvijali. Posebno bi to uticalo na lanac snabdevanja i partnere u lancu snabdevanja i zahtevalo potpuno novi pristup rada sa klijentima koje bi morali da dovedu u centar svojih operacija.
Do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
Epilog je da internet prodaja raste mnogo brže od klasičnog vida prodaje. Prvi put u 2016. godini Gillette je izgubio deo tržišta u Americi. Dollar Shave Club je prodat krajem 2016. godine za $1 milijardu firmi Unilever. Tako su Mike i njegov tim ostvarili u 5 godina $1 milijardu. Ovaj primer jasno ilustruje razlike između digitalnog i klasičnog industrijskog poslovnog modela, ali dovodi u svetlo i razlike koje postoje u organizaciji same firme i pitanje je da li će ove klasične organizacije firmi izdržati u budućnosti i u kojim sve granama industrije i kojom brzinom će se menjati. Druga karakteristika digitalnih poslovnih modela je da materijalna osnovna sredstva postaju sve manje važna, a nematerijalna osnovna sredstva su sve važnija. U suštini, informacija je jedan od osnovnih resursa i glavna nematerijalna osnovna sredstva svake od digitalnih firmi. Da bi ilustrovali kako se do toga dolazi, krenimo od jednog običnog podatka. Ako pogledamo ovaj broj, vidimo da to bi mogao da bude broj koji predstavlja ili broj lične karte, ili broj telefona, ili broj kreditne kartice i u principu ne možemo baš mnogo da kažemo o ovom podatku. Ako bi taj isti podatak predstavili sa nekim dodatnim informacijama, u stvari ga pretvorili u informaciju, onda možemo da vidimo da se u stvari radi o geolokaciji Beograda. Ako sedimo u nekom kafeu u Knez Mihajlovoj ulici, to za nas jeste informacija, ali nema neku veliku vrednost jer to nije baš mnogo važno za ukus naše kafe. Ako se nalazimo negde na moru, u jedrilici, u buri i naši navigacioni sistemi ne rade, onda je ova informacija od životnog značaja za nas. I to je razlika u vrednosti informacija. Znači, prošli smo kroz 3 faze. Prvo je da prikupljamo podatke, znači sve digitalne firme prikupljaju podatke, zatim ih pretvaraju u informacije i zatim pokušavaju da ih naprave što vrednijim da bi ih predstavili svojim korisnicima. Najbolje je da pogledamo i primer koji ilustruje kako se podatak pretvara u informaciju, kako se informacija dovodi da ima određenu vrednost za korisnika. Ako pogledamo ovaj primer, možete da vidite da svaki smart telefon zna tačno gde se mi nalazimo i može da vam da vašu geolokaciju i u ovom primjeru su iskombinovani nekoliko stvari. Pored naše geolokacije korišćena je geolokacija vozila koji nude da vas prevezu iz tačke A u tačku B. Ako odredite gde želite da idete i prijavite gde želite da idete, onda ćete videti i kojom putanjom će vas ta vozila voziti, koliko košta taj prevoz od tačke A do tačke B i možete da vidite i nekoliko opcija za vaš prevoz. Jedna je da koristite obično vozilo, druga je da ćete koristiti crnu limuzinu, treća je da koristite vozilo koje može da primi više putnika i svake od tih slučajeva dobit ćete cenu i dobit ćete za koliko ta vozila mogu da dođu da vas pokupe na mestu na kome se nalazite. Ovo je primer Ubera koji je vredan danas $70 milijardi, što je 2 puta više nego što je bruto nacionalni dohodak Srbije. Ovaj princip digitalne ekonomije da se podaci prikupljaju, da se kreiraju informacije i da se teži da te informacije budu od što veće vrednosti za korisnika, važi i za digitalnu transformaciju. Važi i za velike firme koje žele da se priključe digitalnoj ekonomiji. Marko Annunziata će govoriti o tome kako General Electric primenjuje taj isti princip u svom poslovanju da bi povećao vrednost svoje ponude za korisnike. Pogledajmo.
Industrial assets now become intelligent, interconnected devices. They are equipped with electronic sensors, a couple of jet engines like the ones you see here. Over the course of just 1 day, generate 1 terabyte of data. So enormous amounts of data, which are then sifted through and analyzed with cloud-based software, resulting in insights and ways of operating the machines with much greater efficiency. So what does it mean? In real life, it means that you can now understand a lot better how a jet engine performs in different flight conditions. Is it flying over the desert? Is it flying over the oceans? Is it flying over urban areas in Europe? And what are the implications for taking different flight paths, different strategies of taking off and landing so as to save fuel, but also so as to improve the maintenance. And here is one thing which really changes as you start understanding these machines a lot better. You move from reactive maintenance to preventive maintenance, so to fixing things before they break. So jet engines are one example, but a more powerful example for me is what we're seeing in renewable energy. Wind turbine, old style, sits there on a hill, turns with the wind, produces electricity. Now, picture a wind farm where you have lines and lines of wind turbines. What happens when the wind changes? Can the wind turbines react? Now, these new intelligent and interconnected wind turbines can react. So what happens is, as the wind changes, what can the wind turbine do? Well, it can change the inclination of its blades so that it catches the wind in a better way. But that's only the first step. The second step is to realize that the way in which the first line of wind turbines intercept the wind impacts not just how much power they can produce, but also how the wind then passes through to the second line and the third line of turbines. So what happens with intelligent wind turbines is, as the wind changes, they literally talk to each other. And they react in a way which is coordinated so as to maximize the power output for the wind farm as a whole.
Iz ovih primjera treba primetiti da poslovni modeli utiču značajno na vrednost firme. 7 od 10 najvrednijih kompanija u svetu koriste poslovni model platforme. Zato smo pozvali u goste Sanjit Paul Chowdhuryja, autora 2 knjige o platformama, autora i koautora mnogo članaka u Harvard Business Review, MIT Technology Review, Forbesu i mnogim drugim publikacijama. U 2017. godini on je izabran za jednog od 100 mladih globalnih lidera od strane World Economic Foruma, a njegov rad sa kolegama je izabran za jedan od 10 definitivno management ideja godine od strane Harvard Business Review-a. I on je verovatno najcenjeniji ekspert iz ove oblasti platforme i digitalnog poslovnog modela. As first thing is, all of this is coming because of digital revolution. All of this what you are doing, and I must say you published 2 books which are actually the leading books about the platforms. One is digital platforms, one is the platform scale, which are very popular. And I must say I enjoyed reading these books. And can you explain to our viewers a little bit about the digital revolution and digital business models?
What we've seen over the last decade and a half is that the fundamentals of business are shifting because of the abundance of data that the digital revolution is bringing in, as well as the fact that because we are connected, we can now reorganize entire value chains, we can reorganize the way value flows in our business model. And that is what is leading us to a shift in the shape of business models. Traditionally, the businesses that we have seen have all been what I think of as straight line businesses or pipeline businesses, where you have a producer who creates value, who then ships it, and then somebody gets it at the end, who we call the customer. And in our daily lives, we understand this. When we go to a store, we are receiving something at the end of a pipeline that came from a manufacturing plant. Or if we turn on our TV, we're seeing content that was delivered through a pipeline that is eventually reaching us. So traditionally, that was the way business was created. And the reason for that was that we needed the big factory model. We needed the industrial model of bringing a lot of people together, ensuring that we market a product and ensuring that that product is eventually bought. What is changing now because of data, because of connectivity, and because of this reorganization that happens is that now we are seeing new business models that are no longer these straight line business models. Instead, now the business brings together different kinds of parties. It can bring together other companies, it can bring together other users who can create value, and it brings all of them together onto one single platform and allows them to create and exchange value with each other. So if you look at any industry today, every industry has the potential to move from this straight line pipeline-based business model to a platform-based business model. Some of the common examples that we see today are the examples that we see in the media industry, for example, where traditional television has always worked in this pipeline model, but YouTube works in a platform model, or traditional publishing has worked in a pipeline model. Amazon works on a platform-based model. But what is exciting is that it's not just these few digital startups that we see, but that this change is possible in every industry going forward. We're already seeing even traditional industries like the construction industry, for example, where buildings are being constructed on a platform-based model, where companies like Autodesk are creating the building simulation and building design software and allowing users to come together on a platform and coordinate their actions around the software, building marketplaces where you can have contractors working with building equipment providers, construction material providers, and then eventually smart buildings plugging into this platform as well. So you see something as simple as an Amazon disrupting publishing and something as complex as the construction industry. All of these, this whole spectrum is moving into platform-based models today.
And where do you see value there? Where is value produced?
The value in a platform-based model is produced in understanding the transactions and the interactions between these parties, and then capturing some of that in the form of revenues. So I'll give you a few examples. One common platform-based model is what we think of as the marketplace, where you are creating a market where parties can transact with each other. The simplest example is eBay. But you take that eBay example and take it to any industry, there is the potential to create a marketplace and to bring parties together, facilitate the transaction, and make it easier to have the transaction over a common platform. In this case, the value is in aggregation of the market, and so the value capture, the revenue, happens in the form of a transaction cut. There are other cases where value can be in the form of access of one side of the market to the other side. So if you think of what Facebook does today, it tries to monetize that value in some way. When you write a post, it allows your friends to see it. But if you're running a page on Facebook and if you want more people to see that post, it asks you to promote that post. And that promotion is a way of charging for access to a larger market. So these are the ways in which value is created. You either enable transactions, you enable access of one side to the other, or you enable better understanding of one side to the other. So even if you think of platforms where third parties come in and want to access consumers, the more data the platform has, the more it can charge the third parties for accessing these consumers. And these are the common ways in which value gets created.
Is that also the result of that we do not have enough platforms? Because if there will be new platforms bringing the bigger value, they would compete with Amazon. I was always thinking that if the small countries, or Vienna as a city would have their own kind of Amazon platform, they could compete with Amazon because they can deliver the things faster, and that would be the competition to the Amazon. But we don't see that at the moment.
What I'm beginning to see now is that regulators are beginning to take notice of this, and so we are entering an age, if I could call it that, at least a brief period, where regulation is becoming more fragmented. And that is probably in the short term the only way to combat these big companies. If you look at the EU is creating its own single digital market, and it's creating its own data residency laws, which can prevent, say, an Amazon or a Facebook from operating easily over here. Companies like Google are already facing issues with that because they cannot use the data from outside the EU to train algorithms here, or the data from the EU to train their algorithms outside. And so their targeting capabilities are reducing as well. So in the short term, I really see that as the advantage that some countries will have, where they will enable their homegrown startups to compete with the big guys by creating regulation favorable to these startups. And this is what I think of as regulatory arbitrage, where you are winning not because your business model is superior, but because you play with the regulations better. So as regulation starts becoming more fragmented, we might start seeing some of this kind of competition going forward.
Which would be also good for our region, because there are a lot of separate countries that are belonging to EU, or that are even having laws that you have to keep the data, customer data, in your own country, which would help them to do it. But still, we don't see too many of these startups going into something which we can call local monopoly.
Because of the idea of network effects, where the more users use your platform, the more useful the platform becomes, you need a minimum critical mass, you need a minimum number of users. And what happens is that when we think of Austria, a country of less than 10 million people, it cannot have the kind of network effects that the US or China can have with their hundreds of millions of people. And what that might end up meaning is that for certain kinds of business models, the platform that has less than a certain number of users may not be that useful in the first place. There are certain business models like, say, Uber or BlaBlaCar, which are where you can operate at the city level or the intercity level, so you don't really need to be international to be big. In fact, if you look at Uber, in most geographies, their competitors are now doing better than them, especially in Asia. And what that shows is that there are certain kinds of businesses where local platforms may have an advantage, but there might be certain kinds of businesses where the global platform may have a much bigger advantage. And networking and the Facebooks and LinkedIns of the world are a classic example of that, where no amount of local regulation would break the network effect. The local regulation may impact some parts of their business. It may make the advertising less effective, but the platform will still end up being global. So I believe what's important is that local startups will have to pick and choose what kind of platforms they want to build at the local level versus participate at the global level.
But the example, that they are saying that actually the best salesman in the world was the one who sold the first telephone, right? Because this network effect didn't exist. So if you were the first one to buy the telephone, you could not even speak to somebody else. So
that's a line from my book, yes.
Yes, that's a line from your book, correctly. And the same thing is with the local startups. They have to start, this is probably the most difficult step in towards getting the platform, even on the local level. So what you would what kind of advice you will give to these startups? What has to be the first step towards the platform?
All platforms start small. When we think of platforms, when we see platforms around us, we see these big companies which are in the top 10 of the Fortune 500. These are all part of the 10 largest companies in the world: Facebook, Google, Amazon, Microsoft. But if you look at some of these examples, Facebook started as a small social network within Harvard University only. Google started as a search engine only before it moved into everything, including self-driving cars. Amazon started by just being a bookseller and is now competing with FedEx in logistics, and it's creating an infrastructure for the internet with AWS. What's important is that every platform starts and is successful because of focus. If it tries to do everything from day one, it will never build the network effect. It needs to focus on exactly one problem for a particular kind of user, build network effects in that particular space, and then expand from there. And the reason for this is that when you are early on, when you are constrained on resources, it's important to ensure that you target a very small market where there is a high deal of activity between the producers and the consumers. If you take the Amazon example, if Amazon on day one had tried to do books as well as electronics as well as 5 other categories, building enough network effects would have been a problem, because they would have needed more producers and more consumers before everybody found what they were looking for. But by focusing on books, they were able to start with a few producers and a few consumers who are very interested in books, and then they expanded from there. And that's what's important. Even if you look at the Facebook example, if they had built a global social network, they may never have competed with MySpace. But by creating something for the very small closed market, they were able to saturate it and then saturate many other markets. So entrepreneurs, there's actually a good message over here. Whether entrepreneurs or incumbents, there's actually a good message over here in the sense that starting small is actually an advantage initially. What's important is that you use that advantage gained and figure out how to scale the network effect from there, how to spill into new markets, how to use the data from the first segment to attract another set of parties to the platform and then expand further from there. So that's what's important. But starting small is actually a good thing here.
Sanjit, thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you, and thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you. Pleasure being here.
Da bi ilustrovali princip platforme poslovnog modela, mi smo izradili predlog rešenja u turizmu. Ako pogledamo oko nas, odmah ćemo uočiti ko su turisti i poslovni gosti koji se kreću po našim ulicama gledajući u svoje pametne telefone. Tu se vide dva problema. Prvi je da za bilo koju oblast treba imati različite aplikacije na pametnom telefonu. A drugi je da mnoge od tih appova naplaćuju velike provizije, posebno manjim hotelima i restoranima, davaocima usluga. Zato je naš predlog da se napravi jedna aplikacija koja će voditi turiste kroz vašu zemlju i biti njihov pratilac od planiranja putovanja, sve vreme boravka, pa sve i čak kasnije da se podsjetimo na ono što je doživljeno. Organizovana je kao platforma i omogućava da se uključe i mnogi drugi učesnici od pojedinaca i malih kompanija iz turizma, pa sve do start-up firmi koje bi svojom inovativnošću razvijale i dodavale nove delove na ovu aplikaciju i povećali njenu vrednost. Ovo je poslednji prilog u današnjoj emisiji. Zahvaljujemo vam se što ste bili sa nama i pozivamo vas da nas gledate i u sledećoj emisiji o digitalnoj ekonomiji za 2 nedelje, a sada pogledajte video o našem predlogu.
Digitalna revolucija. Digitalni poslovni model. Kibernetska sigurnost.